Welcome to Live, Let Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
of Live,
Let
Thrive. What's up, Myka? Man.
Chillin', Stevie Stacks. How you doing, man?
Oh, doing good on this episode 319 of your favorite short-term, mid-term, long-term, pad split, whatever you want to call it, podcast in the world, coming at you from Fort Worth and Arlington, Texas.
Let's go, man. Episode 319. We still cranking them out 7 years later. Let's go.
Still cranking them out, baby. And we're going to have some fun today. We always do. I got my coffee to wake me up a bit. I was out all day, you know. I went to a couple of my rental houses, right?
Mhm.
And one of them turned into a pad split, right? And I was checking it out with my handyman Pablo, because he could do the work a lot cheaper than no offense to the pad split guy that does these conversions. I'm sure he knows what he's doing, and that's great. And he knows how valuable his time is, so he could charge an amount. And if you don't want to pay it, all right, cool. I got plenty of work. It's like one of those things. But my handyman is gonna, went and walked it with me. He's gonna do it for significantly less. I explained to him what I wanted to do, change a 4-bedroom to a 6-bedroom, right, and do a few things. So I walked that house, went to the other rental house that I just purchased like about a month ago, and I was doing some renovations on that one, and I said, you know what, I want to add a 4th bedroom to this one.
Mm-hmm.
And we could talk about that on the show, doing the value adds. And I'm a big believer in the value adds because, sometimes you have to finesse the deal a little bit to make it work a little better for you,
Mm-hmm.
And so I've turned it. It's a 3-bedroom, big house. It's like over 2,000 square feet, but it's only 3 bedrooms. So there's big bedrooms, right? It's got a swimming pool too. I'm like, man, this is gonna do great. I've already got corporate interest in it. I hadn't put a stitch of furniture in it yet, but I already got people looking at it. Oh man, it's a 3-bedroom. We want a 4. We want a 4. And so I'm seeing that a lot in the corporate world.
Yep.
People want 4 bedrooms or more because a typical family around here is husband, wife, and 3 kiddos. And then if they're grown, a little older, they each want their own room. That's how Americans do it. And so,
Straight up.
So I want to either find 4 bedrooms or create 4-bedroom houses.
Mm-hmm. That's a hit. Like 4 bedrooms are the hit, and then also creating value is the hit. One thing I always regret not doing to like some of my rehabs was not adding an extra bathroom. Like I was like, dang, like right now the one I'm 1031 doing the 1031 on. If I would have just added an extra bathroom, it would have been so much better value because you had 3 beds, 2 baths instead of 3 beds, 1 bath. So yeah, more bedrooms and baths, you're gonna win every time.
Yeah, back in the old days, we all shared up 1 bathroom, and we got by somehow.
Yeah,
there'd be some squeezing the cheeks moments, and a few times, but other than that, we got by pretty good.
So I have a question on your conversion. How are you adding that bedroom?
All right, so when you walk in, it's a big living room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they got a fireplace and stuff, and some big open windows. And then you go towards the dining room area, and the dining room's huge too.
Mm-hmm.
And then it spills into the kitchen. And then the kitchen actually has this big, like, I guess countertop that you could literally put like 5 or 6 bar stools around it. It's a big size. You could eat there if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the whole rest of the area, it's so big. I'm like, well, I could put a room here, still have some kitchen left if I wanted to put something there. And this goes out to the backyard, which is the swimming pool. So we're gonna close that off, put a wall there, so the living room will be like a separate entity now, instead of like an open concept. You know what I'm saying? Spilling into the kitchen. Gonna have a wall there. It's gonna be a separate entity, and then we're gonna make that 4th bedroom right there, and then the bedroom's gonna have a door going out to the backyard. Also, it's gonna have a door, going into that bedroom, of course, and then the kitchen's still gonna have a door going out to the backyard. So I thought private entrance, that's even worth more. You get a private entrance to a bedroom if you do decide to rent it out by the room in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So we found that space that would make a good area for an extra room. And then if a family wants it one day, it could be like more of a utility room or whatever. But it's a nice size.
Yeah. No. Are you gonna pad split this house?
Not this one, because it has the pool, It's
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
it'll get me more money
Yeah.
as a Airbnb or corporate. Man, that's like I said, a lot of corporate people are asking for houses with pools. They're gonna
Hmm.
be out of, especially of course in the spring and summer, if they're gonna be out of their house for a few months, and they're like, oh, we could pick a house with a pool. They're gonna choose you over a lot of people, right?
Hmm.
But like I just been running into that a couple times. I mean, this company that was wanting the house for the family, they even said, no, we'll take it unfurnished, blah blah blah. And then they said, okay, well, they really want a 4 bedroom.
Mm, okay. Yeah, that's a hit. 4 bedrooms. In the market I'm in, they haven't quite gone yet, but Texas, with so many people moving here, the 4 bedrooms would be the bigger play anyway.
Yeah.
Because yeah, where I'm at, little small town, they're cool with 3 bedrooms. Plus, a lot of them kids are moved out anyway. The people that come, so yeah,
You know who I was thinking of? Who's the guy out of Seattle that came on our show so long ago? I've been off of
Todd Baldwin.
Todd Baldwin.
Yeah.
He was kind of doing this pad split concept before pad split existed. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because he got a giant house, and each room he'd rent out as like it's an apartment, right?
Hmm.
And he even turned the garage into another unit and
Hmm.
did a badass mural on there, put a bathroom in it. It was really cool. And it was its own little apartment, so he had an extra room that way, and it makes sense to do that if you're going in the pad split direction,
Sure.
because you're really not going to park cars in that garage, because people will be parking. It'll be like a nightmare to get in and out. Hey,
Yeah.
move your car, this and that, and that's what the people told me at Past Split. They said the garage is more of a utility area. You have your washer dryer in there. You could put some pool table. I don't know, whatever you want to do, an area, like a little gym area, whatever. But it's not really conducive to park cars if there's going to be 6 different rooms, 6 different people needing to park. They're not going to be parking in the garage.
Okay.
Maybe put a
Yeah.
motorcycle in there or something, a storage. I don't know, something like that.
Speaking of that, man, I actually want to touch on what we talked about earlier because we were texting back and forth about pad split. Um, so back to like, okay, because you just brought up a good point, parking, right? You got 6 people in and out of this house.
Yeah.
Um, like background checks, they don't allow you to have a felony, but you said they don't allow you to have a felony, but you can have one eviction, but it's still up to you to decide to rent to the person, right?
Yeah, yeah. Pretty much he's saying it's still up to you. They only allow one eviction, no felonies. Yeah, I mean, but the rest is you talking to them. You get a feel for somebody when you talk to them,
Mhm.
and then if you want to rent to them or not, and because they verify their income too. They
Okay.
they go plaid on their asses. They get up in their bank accounts, man. They plaid that shit.
They always
So,
they go flat on their
they go
ass.
plaid on their asses. So I love plaid. Whoever came up with that is a genius, man.
Man, love it for real.
Remember, you used to had to type in all your freaking
Oh
numbers to your
man.
bank account, and then drop 2 little pennies in there, one little pin, just to...
Yeah, man, the verification. Man, shout out to Plan. We need a sponsorship after that one for real.
I know, man. I hated that crap. And then because we're doing like hundreds of transactions a day, and
Oh
you have to go
man.
look for freaking 2 little pennies that dropped, man, and just it's so stupid. That 3 days later too, they don't
For
drop
real,
them at that
yeah,
moment.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna find 2 pennies 3 days later, mother.
Yeah, it'll hit your account in 3 to 5 business days.
Plaid, boom, instant. You
For
want all your
real.
accounts, some of your accounts, what you want. And
Straight
and,
up.
and so yeah, they actually he said that on the, cause I listened to the podcast
Hmm.
again, 317, the
Yeah.
Passport guy came on, and he was telling me, yeah, they connect through Plaid, and they go into make
Mhm.
sure their bank accounts and making sure they got enough money to afford a Passport. Okay, I guess that's cool.
And one thing I was a question too. So you can rent off their platform, right?
I can.
Yeah, like so. Let's say you have a pad split, and like you're saying, hey, this bedroom
Oh,
right here.
go off platform. You're
Yeah,
talking about.
this bedroom I'm renting to my cousin or whatever to take care of the place, whatever. You can
Yeah.
rent that off platform. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like and even you could, I mean, it's your house. You can live in one of the rooms, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of people do.
Mm.
They'll stay in one room and rent out all the extra rooms, pad split them.
House hacking.
Yeah, yeah, house hacking. And so yeah, there's no they don't go after you like the Airbnb Gestapo, you know what I'm saying? Go making sure they're shutting everybody down for even whispering, "Hey, can I have your email?" You're done. You're
That's
done.
funny. That's funny.
That's what everybody's talking about nowadays, you know. So I don't know how that's affecting. I hear they're popping a few big companies that help people do that stuff.
Oh, hold on, say it again.
Airbnb, if you're
Yeah,
all the going off platform stuff, they're trying to put it into it.
and Telehost just got hit.
Mm.
Yeah, scraping stuff off their website. So I don't think I've ever used IntelliHost. I think IntelliHost makes you rank higher, right?
I've seen people use it. Yeah, you look for keywords and all that kind of stuff. You know, you type in keywords to like what your description is and the title of your Airbnb, and it lets you know where you're gonna rank because of the keywords.
Oh, yeah, it does. So, yeah, they just got popped by Airbnb for scraping data off their site. Um, so I don't know. I heard sure how that works. So basically, they said if you have used IntelliHost, make sure you are not using it no more, so you don't get banned.
God damn.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's another reason to go look for different avenues. You know, can't be 100% reliant on Airbnb anymore.
You can't, man. And that's why I just before this call, I was on another call doing like a short term, midterm rental room for my mentor. And yeah, you have to. And I was telling everybody, man, short term is a thing. Like the reason why people say Airbnb is down is because one, you have to kind of be a sophisticated host, but two, a lot of people are just sick of Airbnb and going their own way and creating their own businesses like we did. You know, we created our own midterm rental companies. We advertise. We have a freaking advertisement sector now, which we didn't have at first. We use Airbnb. So yeah, you can't just depend on it, bro.
Well, I was thinking, I remember back in the day, we went over to your house. That was back when my Lucy, when she's 7 years old now, when she was just a baby. I remember we
Mm-hmm.
came over, y'all were we were watching a fight or something.
Okay.
But it got kind of loud in there because
Yeah.
y'all turned it up. Y'all the turn up.
I always have a turn up. That's me.
So we went upstairs and like just to, because the baby was crying a little bit. So we went into one of the rooms. You used to rent out by the room
Yeah.
upstairs.
Hmm.
And I was like, this is nice. You know, it was a
Oh yeah.
nice bedroom and you had the mini fridge there
Yeah.
and you had a desk, like, right? A
Hmm.
desk for people to use. You
Yeah.
had a TV mounted on the
Hmm.
wall, comfortable
Yeah.
sheets, nice little design in there. And I remember I was like, man, this is really cool. You know, I could stay in a
Yeah.
place like this. And I remember you had them listed on Airbnb as I don't know if it was called the pink room, the purple room. Well, you called them
Yeah.
some different names, right?
Yeah. Different names.
And I was like, way back then you were doing it better than like 99% of the listings I look at. You go to passplit.com and you look at people throwing all their stuff. Yeah, go on there and go look up
Oh, is that?
Arlington or whatever, you think of. And I mean, sometimes you see bare beds. They'll put a bed there, no sheets or nothing that says bring your own sheets. And pictures with the sideways picture with the iPhone or upside, straight up picture with the
Oh, you
iPhone.
serious?
And no professional photos. No mini. I don't see a lot of mini fridges. I don't see a lot of desks. Sometimes they put a desk in there. I don't see any TVs. It's like they're not giving. I mean, these are bare bones, and they're charging like 170, 180 minimum a
Really?
week for these. I say, man, if people with an Airbnb mindset that knows a little bit about hospitality, knows how to set up a room, knows how to take pictures or get a paid photographer, I mean, it's like shooting fish in a barrel compared to a lot of them that I saw, man. Cause I've been on that site heavy, and I see some ugly ass listings, and it's like only one room left, only one room left. I'm like, so all the rooms are rented, and they're asking like 180 around 100, 180 to $200 a week for each
Bro,
room.
I'm looking at this one right here. They got some crappy looking beds. They look like they squeak if you turn. And then they're charging 205 a week.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm
205.
telling you.
Dang.
2.5 a
But
week, and they probably got 5 or 6 bedrooms at least.
do they have a minimum stay on Pad Split?
I think if I was looking back at the show. I think the first timers have to do a 3 month commitment for a first timer at Pass Split because they don't want you 1 month here, 1 month. They want you to really commit to staying somewhere for 3 months.
Okay.
First timers. I forget. I know it's got to be at least 30 days, but
Okay.
I think it's I don't know if it's always 3 months. I just know he said the first timers have to sign like do it like a 3 month thing. You
So
know,
this is a hit all day in Arlington. Because
dude, I'm telling you,
yeah, it's a hit in Arlington.
look at the competition.
Yeah, you could wipe them out. Yeah, they got
And they got one bedroom left, so they're renting all five bedrooms. They got one left
yeah.
here, one
They
left there.
they could have put they could have put a like on this room I'm looking at, they could have put like a TV up, a nice little place to, for them to work from home. They got these doo-doo brown sheets with these horrible curtains, man. Yeah,
Now,
this is horrible.
what's the trip? I'm looking at North Dallas, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I looked, I said, okay, well, North Dallas, let's see what's going on. Of course, they're charging more, like 240, 250 a week,
Yeah.
right? Really nice, got the professional photos, the design's nice. But it says like it'll say it's got 4 or 5 empty rooms. I'm like, maybe that's not where Pat Split works so good. I'm just thinking, they're charging a bit more, but it's North Dallas. But maybe more people over there got more money, and they're not going to be hitting a Pat Split. Whereas B and C areas, that's where the Pat Split people would be.
I think that's in Texas though, because pad split. Well, the concept. Let's say the concept of pad split. It works in high dense air. See, you know what it is. Texas ain't that dense, meaning you don't have a whole bunch of people in one spot where they can't move around. Like in the DFW, we were talking about this because of like ADUs. Why ADUs aren't big in Texas? Because if you look at the land mass in Texas, there's a bunch of people that live in DFW, but we're all spread out. Prosper, Frisco, Plano, McKinney. It's not like if you go to Seattle, if you go too far to the west, you're in the water. If you go too far to the east, you're in the woods. So it's like everyone's condensed. That's why how we just talked about Todd Baldwin. He could split them rooms up because everybody's got to be condensed in that area. So I think, yeah, maybe in Dallas, people ain't about to, I'm not about to go live like this in a small room and far
Now,
North Dallas.
Deep Ellum, I saw that those were
Yeah.
in high demand.
Yeah. So like Deep Ellum, hey, where everyone wants to be in the like the
Young hip
middle of everything.
kids, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like up there in North Dallas, you're like, but still like maybe 15, 20 minutes from downtown. And then you could like have your own apartment or somewhere. So yeah, it's definitely market dependent. Like Arlington, man, we have too many college kids here anyway. You know what I mean? Professors, people that have to come in transient. It works here perfectly. And we ain't got no damn public transportation. So I'm for real. We're the largest. Go ahead.
That's the only thing that sucks. I mean, and you're saying it right. We're the largest city in the country with no public transportation. We got like one rinky-dink bus that goes back and forth to like, I don't know, I don't even know where it goes. It just like goes back and forth to one spot, I think. But
Yeah.
anyways, so that's the only thing that sucks is because it's car reliant, Arlington.
Yeah.
And so those parking spaces are going to come in real handy if you can have some extra parking spaces, because if you live by an area with bus service and stuff like that,
Yeah.
then you wouldn't have to worry. It'd be like one space. I think if you have public transportation, the guy said it on the show, Justin. He said one space per 2 rooms is enough. One parking space per 2 bedrooms. So if you have a 6 bedroom, you can get away with 3 spaces. You're good. But if you're at a space that doesn't have public transit, and I was thinking Arlington, either they have to park on the street, or they're gonna have to, or you can try to make a couple more spaces.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Cause yeah, oof, yeah, public transportation just sucks in Arlington.
Now I have a home in Arlington that's been, I got a long-term renter there forever. She's been there forever, so she pays on time all the time. So I'm not trying to lose her or nothing. But if
Yeah.
she ever did move away, that would be to me a prime Pat split, because I already know I can make 2 more bedrooms in that place,
Hmm.
maybe 3. But what's cool about that? It has one of those wooden gates that opens up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, with a remote gate, and you park in the backyard. There's a whole it's all paved, it's all cement concreted out in the backyard, so you could park a bunch of cars back there in the backyard. Close the gate, nobody will ever see them. Nobody ever
Ooh.
complain. I mean, it's the perfect. That's what you want, something like that.
Yeah. So it's funny. I just did a client. She's looking to do like short-term rentals with us and us manage it. That's how our house is set up. So the front of the house, you don't see jack crap. There's a sidewalk, like a concrete drive up. You go behind it and there's two big, huge garage spaces back there. But she converted one of them. Her husband converted one of them to like a man cave. She could convert the other one, and that'd be a perfect. It's not in the city for it, but it'd be a perfect pad split for like in Dallas or Arlington or somewhere. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's a hit. especially if that, and then you get the privacy, right? Neighbors ain't looking over 6, 7 cars out there.
They're on the backyard.
Yeah. See, and I was wondering, yeah, that's why I'm excited for you to get started because I do want to see, like, okay, how's the cards gonna go? How's the cards gonna go? And just to see how it's gonna work out, you know?
Yeah, and here's a good thing about that house. It's in a
Yeah.
court, a cul-de-sac, they
Okay.
call it. So
Okay.
that you go all the way around. There's plenty of parking all the way around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's people that don't care for someone else parking in front of their house. That
Straight up.
even though nobody owns the curb, right? From the
Yeah.
sidewalk on to the street, and nobody owns that. The city owns that. Hold on, real quick. Yeah, keep talking. I
Funny
hear you
thing
saying.
is, funny thing is when you say that, we always have that issue on my street. You know, the people who think they own the not the sidewalk, but own the street in front of their house, not realizing anybody can park there. So we deal with that issue all the time. We had one guy call the cops because someone parked in front of his house, and there was really nothing he can do about that. So I'm pretty sure depending on the area, you shouldn't have any problems like that. People get extra bougie down here in South Arlington
My
because
little.
yeah, we're almost in Mansfield. So
I
yeah,
was gonna say, man. I was
yeah.
like, I was like, why don't you? I mean, you have experience in the pad split world. I said, why don't you pad split your house and go buy you a McMansion in Mansfield?
These interest rates, I'm good. Man,
You
because
get good prices right now on those McMansions.
yeah, you probably could, but yeah, I need my doors. I need my 16 more doors. And I'm dang close to it because I'm analyzing a 12-unit apartment complex right now, and hopefully that comes through for me. I'll see.
Oh, what is it? How many?
12-unit apartment complex.
Oh, nice. I think you mentioned that
It's
before.
yeah, it was. It just no
Oh,
no
you
no
just got it.
this one just hit the market. It's only been on the market for 36 hours, right? But it was listed at 625. So I called my realtor. I was like, "Hey, shoot me the numbers on this." She went and got the rent roll and everything, and like they're way undercharging for this place. They're charging like 550 a unit,
Mm.
and like you could easily go up to like seven something. And they have 8 units fully occupied. 4 of them just got renovated. I was like, man, I could take these 4 units, turn them into midterms, let the other ones, bankroll till those people decide to leave and go from there. So looking at that, because yeah, man, I need my units. I need my doors.
So 12 units for 600K. That has to be Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna
But
say.
it ain't worth the 600. I'm gonna quick tip for y'all. If y'all have all like the financials on the building, you could put those financials into Chat GPT, tell them what address is, and you could tell it break down what's the cap rate and what to offer on the property. Chat GPT told me to offer 420,000. I was like,
Wow.
damn, I'm gonna do it too. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna offer it, but I'm gonna wait till they've been listed a little longer. I don't want to list them, offer them 420. They just got listed today. They're gonna like get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna wait a few days.
Now to buy commercial, are you gonna have to put 20% down, or how does that work?
I don't know. See, because this is a full blown. I don't know if I'm gonna have to do 20% down because it's gonna be a DSCR. It's gonna be full blown commercial because it's over 5. So I need to ask my mentor. I wanted to ask him tonight, but I was doing a room for him, so I need to ask him how much. How can I take this down?
Owner finance all day.
They already said they wrote on the listing no seller finance. I was like, that was what I was gonna do too, man. I was like, because I was listening to that podcast, the dude who was doing the
20%.
0%. He let the owner. He does it in Arkansas.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said he does it in Arkansas. I'm like, oh man, I was actually gonna call him. I followed him on Instagram and everything. Shout out to Ark. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can. I was gonna call him, but they were like, yeah, no seller finance, and I was like, dang. So
Now that will they finance that 20% chunk though for you?
I no, that's what they wrote. They don't want to finance anything. They want it off their hands. My assumption is they're probably going to buy something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they probably doing like a 1031 on like a bigger unit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Never say never, man. They might be
True.
convinced
Yeah.
because that's what
True.
that guy does. He finances through a bank,
Yeah.
local bank, like he says. He likes the mom and pop banks, whatever, and he gets the seller to finance out the 20%. So he goes in $0 down.
Yeah.
You know, so asking them to finance 80, that's a big haul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The owner finance way, or
Mm-hmm.
or 90 or
100.
whatever, yeah, or
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
But if it's hey, this 20%, can y'all work with me on that? I'll pay you payments on that. That's and get in there zero money down.
I'm about to holler on them. I'm about to see. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try because I'm trying to do everything to get this one. I'm like, man, trying to find partners, however I got to do it. Because I was listening to Brandon, he was like, it's easier to find $1 million than 100,000, and I'm like, that is true. I can see that. Yeah,
Because yeah, if it's 420,000, that's like you have to be putting like 90,000 down, right, at 20%
yeah, like 90K down.
closing. Yeah.
You're probably coming out about 100 grand.
Yeah, with all the closing fees and all that.
Yeah,
So yeah, if you can get in zero and you know it's gonna profit and cover that, you know,
yeah,
that
yeah.
loan.
420. If he's gonna take the 420.
420 all day.
Hey, yes, sir. Yes, master.
So I saw a thing and I texted you. I saw this Monopoly meme.
Oh man, I can't wait to talk about this.
You
Go
seen
ahead.
that? I'll pull up the text message to you because
Yeah.
it so I could read what it says. And it's a picture of like a Monopoly board, right? And it says, imagine playing Monopoly and never buying any assets or investments that generate income. Imagine you just went around collecting $200, giving your money to the rich, and trying to stay out of jail. That is how most people live their lives.
Fully agree. I fully agree. That goes back to what we talked about last week about the millennials, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people, they just keep pass and go, collect their little paycheck every 2 weeks, and then complain about everything that goes on. I'm like, bro, invest something. Try to do something to better yourself. You ain't even investing, just investing in yourself. You know what I mean? I read somewhere where this dude said millennials have it the hardest because we went through all the most stuff. We went through COVID, we went through 9/11, we went through what did he say? The other one, COVID, 9/11, and 2008 crash. I'm like, bro, I don't know what 9/11 has to do with your financial situation today, but if that's what you want to play, that's the game you want to play, then yeah, whatever that has to do with it. But yeah, people just sit there and go, don't buy any assets, and the assets are there for you to buy. It's not like there's anything blocking you, right?
Mm,
Besides knowledge, money, you know what I'm saying? You probably have a money problem that can be fixed, knowledge problem that can be fixed, but you just have to want it, man. That's all it comes down to. You just have to want it.
mm. You gotta
Because
take
man,
chances. You gotta take
you do.
chances.
Got to take risks. Got to take calculated risks, man. But risks become easier the more you educate yourself.
No
Because
risk, no reward.
yes, sir. And that's how people want to live their life. But man,
Yeah, man. And so that really hit hard. I was like, I mean, for us, and there's a buddy of mine that sent it to me. A buddy of mine, shout out to Warren. He's big on the stocks and day trading kind of game. That's his game.
I think I met
Uh,
him before, right?
you met Warren. You met Warren
Okay,
at one
I
of the
thought so.
meetups. Yeah, it might have
He,
been at that weed stock meetup.
yeah, yeah, I think so.
But he's always been
He was
about
he was the
stocks.
guy who's the doubter, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a doubter.
No, no, he
Back
was
then he
like,
was. Back then
yeah,
he
yeah,
was.
yeah. I was like, yeah, because he was like, no, man, they can't do that. I was like, all right, I'm making money hand over fist doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's come around a lot though. He's come
Yeah.
around. I even managed one of his Airbnbs in Fort Worth once.
Ah, he got on board,
Yeah,
didn't he?
he saw what I was doing. I was like, yeah, I got him one over there in Fort Worth,
Good,
and he
good.
wants another one already.
There we
Airbnbs
go.
are like tattoos. You can't just have one.
Straight up, you got to keep on getting them. Walking around looking like Lil Wayne soon. Let's go.
And so that hit pretty deep, and I was like, I've been telling people, um, I don't anymore, because I go to work. If I still have my day job, I go in a few times a week, and just to keep the benefits going. And I
Straight
don't
up.
even know what my paychecks look like. I mean, they go into the account, whatever. And so,
Yeah,
I'm not bragging.
straight
It's
up.
just I
Yeah.
just had, people are just, I mean, every day scrutinizing their paychecks. Oh, a penny's off this. People are, oh, no, they didn't call me for overtime. They didn't call me for overtime. Itching like a crackhead. And so. I'm serious, man. They got to have that drip, man. They got to have that drip. And I see that, man. And I seen the same doing that. And okay, maybe they have 401k. Everybody, pretty much most everybody. Some people don't even have that, man. They match you at work, and some people don't even do that. But that's just crazy. But a lot of the older guys are, man, and it's sad because like union job, been there forever, and people
Mhm.
they're people that work into their 80s there, man. They just stay,
Yeah.
and they literally die while they're still employed at that job. They literally work to the last day they go home and they die. It's like, and they're signed up for overtime the next day, kind of thing. It's like, man, Why? But you can't tell nobody nothing.
Man, then most of them are already dead. They're just waiting to be buried, bro.
I'm just
Straight up, man. I know some people like, who they're just dead mentally and they're just waiting to be buried. They're like, if you show them something, oh, they have these doubts. And it's like, I'm like you. I don't tell people, like, if you want to know, if you ask me, I'll tell you. But like
yeah.
anything else, I'll just be like, like people when they complain about taxes, I'm like, buy real estate. You ain't got to pay taxes, bro. That's simple. But I mean, it's that simple. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's interesting how people have. It's a mindset thing. Everything starts with the mindset.
It is a mindset thing, and I told you before about my brother. He lost his job. I told him congratulations. Finally, he can do something he always wanted to do, and then you know he couldn't. He really didn't.
I want to work.
He couldn't. Yeah, he wanted to go back, started putting applications in and stuff. It's not for everybody.
Yeah,
It's not for everybody. But anybody. It's not for everybody, but anybody can do it.
yeah. I'll say this: it's not for everybody, but I think we're living in a place now where you have to have more than one stream of income. It's no way. Like I don't. If you are in a better situation, if you and your wife work, I understand that. But still, me and Mahogany has her businesses. I have my business. Then we have, we all consider it one, but we have multiple streams of income. And
Mm.
I think you're living now. Like when people always complain about these tariffs and stuff, like, oh, the tariffs are coming, stuff's gonna go up in price. It's like, well, some of the stuff that's going up in price is just going to be a write off for me because I've planned accordingly. You just have to be prepared and you have to, have some other means because you get sick and can't work anymore. You need some passive income. Anything can happen. You know what I mean? Like how people live their lives just pass and go and collecting 200. That's risky to us.
Mm.
I'm like, that's a risk, but going around collecting your 200, using your 200 to buy pieces on the Monopoly board, that's less risk to us because we understand the end goal of it.
And then plus inflation's eating away at that money, that 200 every year.
There you
You know.
go. And I have a question for you because you said you were working your job and you just go to keep the benefits. Have you ever thought about what's your number going to be for you to leave?
I was big on that back in the day, but and I could leave already,
Hmm.
you know, and I don't know. I don't know. It's to me, it kind of motivates me to set up the business where it runs itself,
I like
you
that.
know, and I can still go in a few days a week, you know. I see some buddies there and stuff, and
Yeah.
and I get to keep the flight benefits rolling,
Yeah.
um, and the insurance rolling. That's the thing, because I know I always and I preach this to people too. I'm like, they're like, oh, you can never leave your job because you can never leave because you got the insurance. And I'm like, well, if you look at it as a line item, let's say, I pay $500 a month at my work for insurance, right?
Hmm.
Outside of work, I'll probably pay like, $1,000 a month or $1,200 a month, whatever it is. It might be double or more, but that's a line item. That's one rental house that's gonna pump that out for me, right? If you look
Yeah.
at it like that,
Yeah.
then you start losing that fear a little bit to leave. Now, if they did some BS and they got an a-hole manager, I'll be peace out the next day. I don't care. I don't have to put up with it. It gives me the
Yeah.
freedom to not put up with it.
There you
And
go.
luckily right now we don't have any a-hole managers. They're all cool. They let us do our thing. We knock out what we got to knock out, and then I can work on the business when I have some downtime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but if a a-hole looking over the shoulder, degrading
Micromanager.
micromanager popped up again, I could just, all right, see y'all.
Yeah.
Deuces. I don't need this
Straight up.
job.
So I guess my question would be like, so like me, for me to leave my job and to be fully considered retired, because I left early the last time. Shout out to my mentor behind me, Thatch. One thing I did do, I didn't know what my consistent cash flow needed to be every month. Like now I know I just need, if I have 20,000 a month coming in off my rentals, that means I have X amount of properties paid off and I get 20,000 a month every month for the rest of my life. I would just leave, right? Possible. Yeah, I have them paid off. Then I would just leave because I know my expenses. That's what I meant. Like, do you know that? Do you have a number? Or are you just like, I'm just staying for the benefits?
I think 20K would do it. I haven't sat down and factored everything,
Uh huh.
I'm sure 20K
Yeah.
would do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm close to that. I'm close to that
Yeah.
already. If I,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, That's a good question though. To sit down
Yeah.
and think about it, man. You're gonna make me want to quit my job.
No, I don't quit. I just always ask people that because when I've, you know me, I've left, well, I've been laid off for a job and then I've left a job. But that is one thing I didn't understand until I hired a mentor and he broke it down to me. And he
So
was like, go ahead.
so did things get a little tight when you left or what?
Yeah, it got tight because Airbnb took a shift, short term took a shift. That's why I was like, okay, let me get more uh units to manage. That kind of helped. But then, okay, when I went back to work, then interest rates popped up on me. That was like, oh shit, I ain't really buy like I want to. So then I had to like take a hit back on that. So then I'm back in my 9 to 5 now, but now I'm here with a purpose. Because once he explained to me, he goes, you don't need 50, 60 doors. That's what's preached. He goes, that's what's preached on podcasts. You need to find out what the average rent is in your area. Find out what that is. How many doors do you need if you pay those all off to bring you that consistent cash flow? So even if you do, so I don't even count Airbnb money as cash flow anymore. I only count the long term, like the lease that I give from myself to my LLC. That's the only cash flow I consider. So once that hits like 20K a month off the doors I want, then I can consider leaving. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll have enough paid off doors. If I pay off those doors, that's a few million. I'll be worth a few million, right? Now, I mean, what my guy always says, if you have cash flow like that and equity like that, you probably ain't going to run into too many $1 million problems. You have something to fall back on.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, on that note,
Hmm.
knowing that what you know now, when you started your real estate journey,
Yeah.
what would you have done different?
Ooh, I would have never arbitraged. Knowing what I know now, I would have never arbitraged. If knowing, I'm happy. This is a good conversation. If I was to go back 7 years ago when Airbnb first started, I would have only managed and bought properties. It's the only thing I would have done. Now, because management, that's your money to buy more properties right there. You can go buy more doors right there. So I would have managed and arbitrage. That's it.
You mean managed and bought?
Yeah, sorry, managed and bought. Just those two. Yeah, managed and bought. I would have just done that, and then I would have just focused buy a door, BRRRRs. Like back then, we could have got a BRRRR. You get a what 3% interest rate, So doing BRRRRs, things of that nature. Now with the interest rates being high, I'm doing multifamilies. I'm looking to buy multifamilies.
Now that's something I thought of that question, and I thought how would I answer that question?
Yeah, yeah. How would you answer that?
And I'll say it like this: when I first started, I was doing exactly the right thing
Yeah.
because I had my first house. I bought it 2009, right? And luckily
Mhm.
after the crash, and got it cheap,
Yep.
like for 80 grand. And then I convinced my wife, like I said, she's from Mexico. She didn't know any different. Like, okay, I guess is what you do. You hop over houses every year, you know? A lot of wives wouldn't be cool with that,
Yeah.
but she was. And,
Yeah.
and so we hopped to the next house, after quit about within a year she lived there. We moved to the next house, my first house to the second house, and turned the first one into a rental. And then
Mhm.
I did it again and again until like I had four houses, right?
Yeah.
And after at that four house mark, I believe that's when I started doing the dipping my toe into arbitrage because we heard how badass it was, right?
Yeah.
Arbitrage and getting those ghetto units in Dallas, and then and my ex partner Federico in the business, came over and we started going heavy on getting more arbitrages and the management thing, and I'm grateful for all that and the learning experience.
Wow.
And of course, we started the show and all this stuff about Airbnb. And I'm grateful for all that. But I always tell myself, man, my goal was to buy one house every single year. And I got sidetracked. And I got sidetracked with the arbitrage and the Airbnb. Just went into that world. I learned a lot, and we're helping other people do it too, and it's help, and it is a tool, a useful tool in my toolbox, right? And
Yeah.
but I got sidetracked from my goal. That was my goal. Every year I'm gonna buy a house. That's it. I'm gonna grow slow. I'm gonna go steady. Buy me a house. And the big reason, and it really reared its head to me today when I was at those two rental houses that I bought that I own. Um, and I was like, okay, I can add a room here. I can add two rooms here. I could do this and that to maximize the income. I can't do that in an arbitrage. I can't go putting walls up at someone's house, or
Yeah.
just I can't do that first of all. And then I'm going to spend a lot of money to do it at someone else's house. I'm helping them get equity. Oh well, but it's like, why didn't I just do this from the beginning? Buy one and turn it into an Airbnb. I could do an Airbnb out of it, or I can
Yeah.
do the pad split thing. But I was like, I wasn't building any equity with these arbitrages and stuff like that.
Shiny object syndrome, bro. It kicked our ass, boys. Shiny object syndrome, man. I'm telling you. I'm the same way. And I'm happy. You brought up a good thing. You said the learning lessons, right? Now that I know what I want to know now, I appreciate everything I learned because it's helping me now of how I analyze a property. I analyze a property just long term, but then I'm also looking like, okay, long term, this thing cash flows, but I can rent this out to an insurance client for 3,500 a month and this one for 3,500 a month. That's $7,000 off what probably 2,800 in expenses off of turning it into short term or midterm. So I appreciate all that. And I think everything happens for a reason. So now we're able to do this and now it's going to be bigger for us, right? Because now we know to go bigger. Because now we're doing the multifamilies, we're doing the pad split thing, we're changing it up and it just makes us better. But yeah, hindsight's always 2020, right?
Yeah.
It's always 2020. Because now I got back to my original goal. How you said one a year, I want to buy two a year for the next 5 years. So by the time I'm 40, I'll have the number of doors I need. Then I'm in debt payoff. I'm just doing debt payoff, paying off everything.
Mm. Nice. Yeah, it's like but getting those arbitrage is like a drug, right? In a way,
Yeah,
it
it
could be
is.
like a drug because it is. I mean, if you do it right, you get in. Now, there's people out there. I mean, Sean Rassid, just a friend of the show.
Yeah.
He's all about the arbitrage game. He's
Oh.
still preaching
Mhm.
arbitrages to this day. He doesn't
Yeah.
believe in buying anything. And
Yeah.
you arbitrage everything, make money on someone else's property. That's his play. But now, my thing is, okay, you're growing real slow. If you're trying to save up, 20 grand a year to buy a house, then it turned into
Yeah.
40 grand, then it turned into 80 grand to buy a decent house now, to buy one. You're saving up all this money to buy one. But there are a lot of shortcuts that you can
Oh yeah.
take when buying. We learned this later on too.
Yep.
Owner finance is a big one. Owner
Hmm.
finance. I mean, I'm buying one in Euless coming up this week, and I'm putting 6% down because I worked out a deal with the seller. You
Hmm.
know, 299 price tag. He's fixing the foundation on it, and then he's got, of course, when you do the foundation, you got to check the pipes afterwards. Anyways, we
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
be closing sometime next week after he gets all
Ooh,
this work
ooh.
done. Getting a good price. It's a 4 bedroom little house, but yeah, I mean, they wanted first they threw out, okay, we're cool with owner finance, but how about 20%? I was like, well, I don't. How about I give you this? This we went back and forth, and we agreed on a price, and that came out to
Yeah.
like 6%. And I was like, I can get houses for 6% or less, or 0% even if you get creative with it. So
Yeah.
so I'm all about trying to buy everything now because I can, buy it. You get all the equity, you get the write-offs, you get the depreciation, and then you get to add value to the houses.
You know what? I might have to talk to you about some owner finance deals. Would you want some multifamilies in Arkansas?
Possibly.
Like I'm talking like 10 to 12 units.
I don't know nothing about Arkansas, but you do.
That's where the partnership comes in. See, I haven't been doing owner finance. I've been doing 1031s and BRRRRs, right?
Hmm.
So I understand that side of it, but I understand the owner finance, but I haven't done it. So I don't know. Let me know. Cause that is, cause I'm at the point now, I got to go bigger. Like it's time to stop. I'm not knocking single families. I'm 1031 in all of them that I can, if I can,
Hmm.
because I got probably another one I'm about to do a 1031 on. So I'm just getting rid of them and seeing how I can move into bigger deals because I think that's a mistake I made too. I played too small. I didn't dream big enough.
Mm.
Yeah, don't ever play small. If you play small, it'll just hold you back.
What
Yeah.
was what's cool about getting a nice size house is it can be that one house can be with pad split could be like a little apartment for you.
Yeah.
Each
Yeah.
room is a door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but it's a different way to do it. But I've always fantasized about owning an apartment complex. I thought that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Just I'm a 1031 everything. Get me an apartment complex. I'm set.
Yeah.
Everything's in one spot. Get a management
Mhm.
company to run it.
Yeah.
But ain't nothing easy in life. There's not
Gotta
everything has.
choose. Gotta choose your hard, bro. Gotta choose your hard. And I have a question. How many doors do you own now?
So this will be this will be the 10th one, I believe. The Euless one will be the 10th one.
What's the average rent? Over 2,000?
So I do. Let me see. I have some condos that do. I still have a condo that does like 1750. Another condo does around 1,000. It's a small condo. If you average it all out, I guess you can go around. Man, that's a good question because I do have one that's a corporate, gets like 5 or 6 grand a month. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, I have to look at the average. Let's just say 3,000 across the board, 3,000 a month across the board on long-term rentals, not the
How
not
long?
the
So
Airbnb.
on 3,000. So if you were to pay those off, you'd be bringing in roughly 30,000 a month.
Yeah, so pay him
You're
off.
pay him off. That's what I'm saying. Like if you were to tell him that, he would tell you pay him off. Pay him off, and then whatever you want to do, you want to go vacation, travel, do it. And if you still want to dabble in real estate, dabble in real estate. Yeah, you're probably at debt payoff phase, man. And that's what like he's the only person I know that's ever preached that. And I remember he was talking to Brandon Turner, and Brandon said it. He goes, man, no one ever taught me that to pay him off, and that's just consistent cash flow the rest of your life. I was like, damn, yeah, man.
Because
Consider
yeah, doing everything with debt's a drug too, though.
it is. It's a drug that can slowly kill you.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Shout out to our friend Adam Johnson, friend of the show. He just paid off 2 houses. I think he's doing it too. Everyone's starting to get in that pay down.
Whoa, Adam
Yeah,
Johnson.
yeah. A
Yeah,
lot of people, man. I think a lot of people see like the less debt I have on me, one increases your cash flow, but two, it's like it's less pressure.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Dave
that's
Ramsey all the way.
yeah. It's going against Dave Ramsey by using the debt in the first place, but he
Yeah.
sets a good foundation.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, it's there's a lot of ways to do it, and then I mean you can utilize debt to help you out, and then of course the appreciation and depreciation is going to help destroy that debt. So that's a good way too. Some people believe in never paying anything off, and then what's it called, refi till you die. Remember?
Yeah,
Uh,
I used to think like that. Now I'm
yeah.
like, nah, I ain't trying to refi till I die. Hell no. Yeah, by the time I'm 35, 36, about to be 36, 14 years from now, I want to hopefully have everything paid off. Yeah.
Someone okay, I sent you this thing and I'll shout it out on the show because it's really cool. It's called
Okay.
QB Casa.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah.
Did we talk about it on the show?
Yeah, we talked about it last week. We talked about because they I made a reel about it, right?
Oh, cool.
And they came on, they messaged, they're like, hey, can you collab us on it? I was like, yeah. And they collabed on the reel on Instagram. Shout out to Kubi Casa. Yeah, yeah.
Did you walk your house and do one or what?
No. They collabed after they heard you talking about it and what it did. They're like, hey, that's the perfect explanation. They collabed on the reel. They were like, I want to collab on this. So yeah. Shout out to Kubi Casa.
Oh, okay, cool. I
Yeah.
thought you tried it. I did it
No, I
already.
haven't done it yet.
It's fun. I mean, it's fun. We're
Yeah, I'm gonna
freaking
check
real
it out.
estate nerds, right? You just walk around the house and point at the walls, and it freaking makes a badass. And now that the black and white one's free.
Uh-huh.
That's what I figured out when I did it. Now you can get the color one, you can get the 3D
Oh,
freaking badass one too. You got to pay for those like $15. It's not too bad.
that ain't bad, bro. I was paying like hundreds of dollars for that.
Yeah. So yeah, it scans, it
Yeah.
takes the photos and all the stuff, and it makes it into a 3D, like you said, Matterport kind of deal. So
Dude,
you
thank
gotta
you for that. Thank you for that. Because, like, I turned all my properties into Matterports and put them on YouTube. And
Yeah,
it cost me
yeah.
like $300, bro. I was like, damn, yeah,
Oh,
bro.
dude, that's a big play too. I'm putting all my houses on YouTube as well.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
these corporate people, oh, can they tour it tomorrow? Well, I got someone there for a week. How about it? I'll
Yeah.
send you this. Here's the YouTube. Click on this. Check it out.
That's what my
You know?
VA does. She just sends them to the YouTube and they're like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
this is the house? Yeah.
Yeah, Manu. Shout out to Manu. He does that for me too.
Yeah, bro.
He's the one making all these these YouTubes and stuff. I was like, this is cool, man. What a world we live in.
For real.
Oh, it's all something funny because these where you put the fake, what is it called, the virtual furniture and all that shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's getting really good. At first, it looked like some it looked like what's it called, that dinosaur movie, the first one,
Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park Part 1, where he's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of computer. It looks cartoony.
Yeah.
That's how the furniture looked at first. It looked cheesy. I was like,
Yeah.
it'd be better you didn't do that. But now it's getting harder to tell apart. But
Dude.
I saw this one house. It is in the ghetto too, but in Arlington, and
Ghetto.
it had they put one of those they put a virtual pool table in this mug, and they put a
Yeah.
virtual darts board, and I was like, but they left the damn window unit hanging out in that room. Window unit AC. I was like, come on, man, at least virtually get rid of that shit. I was tripping out though when I saw it. I was like, but I think they have to put on there when they're selling a house like that. This is virtual furniture or
Oh,
whatever. I don't know if it's a rule, but I've seen it a lot on the
they
on
don't read no way, man. I mean, they ain't gonna read it. They ain't gonna read it. I mean, so yeah, man. That like especially with AI is doing some crazy stuff with like virtual. So yeah, you could stage up a house, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was a trip though. That's coming along real good. Yeah, man, we talked about a lot of stuff today. Layouts for homes. I was gonna bring up great handyman to get a handyman, get some quotes, and then get your handyman on it and see where he's at with it. He likes if you keeping them in work, they'll get you good deals, dude.
Straight up.
Uh, yeah, so I keep my guys busy. Yeah, buying is better than arbitrage. I've come around to that. I still
Man.
have quite a few arbitrages, but my goal when I get one of these badass houses that makes a great arbitrage for a great price and all that stuff, I know it's gonna make profit. I'm just gonna make a great relationship with that owner, and I'm gonna buy that thing from him.
I love it. That's a strategy.
I'm gonna buy it with the own profit I made on their house. I'm gonna buy their house.
There you go. Hey, recycling the dollar, brother. Recycling the dollar, man.
So
But hey, bro, I tell people, as long as you get involved, you're gonna learn and you're gonna find your niche. Just get involved, stay consistent. You're gonna find your niche, man. That's all it is. Execution and grind, bro. That's all it's been the last say what 7, 8 years of us doing this, just executing and grinding, falling off, falling short, but getting back up, straight up.
why aren't you good partners with Henry Washington, Bigger Pockets? He's big. He's deep in Arkansas over there, man.
He's in Northwest Arkansas. I'm in Central.
Oh, it's
I know what you're talking
different.
about. Yeah, yeah. That's way. Yeah, that's more touristy where he is. It's like real nice and touristy up there. So before we moved to the Pacific Northwest, before my parents moved to the Pacific Northwest, they used to live in Northwest Arkansas. They lived in Fort Smith, and after that, they moved. That's when they moved up to Oregon and Washington. Yeah, it's
Okay.
nice up there, bro. It's nice.
Yeah, he was talking about on the last podcast he was on BP, talking about a house he bought for like 50 grand over there, but it has a lake view and a badass lake and everything. But it was a run down house, but he's gonna
Yeah,
fix it up and it's gonna be a lake. It's gonna be worth like, I mean, probably like quadruple or more what he bought it
yeah.
for. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, Northwest. I'm gonna tell you, if you want like some good places that are on the rise but it's starting to go up a little bit, Northwest Arkansas and Hot Springs, Arkansas. Like those are more vacation rental spots, but bro, it hits.
That's
It
what he wants to
hits.
do with a vacation rental. He wants to do
Yeah,
that, or
that's
he can use
exactly
it
what it
too.
is. Yeah. So like Northwest Arkansas, bro, if you want to, I'm not in that market. I'm more central because I like more of the midterms and the insurance clients and all that. But if I was to ever just once I get my paper right, I would probably just throw a little cash over on something to where I could just vacation. I really want something in the Smokies just to have it,
Hmm.
rent it out, and then
Use it when you
snowbird
want.
season come. Yeah, use it when you want.
Yeah. One
Yeah.
thing, real quick, because we,
Yeah, go ahead.
so the what's it called? So a friend of my wife, so the lady that does her hair, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She works a lot of events at the Cowboys games, right? And then Cowboys games, concerts, all kinds of stuff. She works a lot of those events, and she has a house real close to the stadium. And she's like, oh, she's asking me because, oh yeah, I told her you were talking about that pad split thing, and she said she wants to start renting some of her rooms out in pad split.
Yeah.
And she goes, especially for the World Cup. I was like, well, I think the World Cup would be a better Airbnb play.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
she's like, well, she said she's talking about all the workers that are going to be working. She wants to house the workers
Ooh.
for the World Cup. And I was like, that's a
Ooh.
good idea. I didn't even think about
Damn good
that.
idea.
I just thought
'Cause
about tourists.
bro, that is a damn good idea. They're gonna be here way before the
Oh,
event
yeah.
actually starts because they got to set up. Oh man, she's thinking. Get her on the podcast. She's thinking. That's what I.
And I was
Go ahead.
thinking that too. I was like, man, I ain't gonna rent my whole houses out on the World Cup.
Yeah,
I'm gonna rent them out room by room and freaking $1,000 a room, man. Come on,
yeah,
$1,000 a night a room. Why not
yeah.
maximize it?
Straight up. But damn, the workers. That was a hit. That's a hit.
I didn't even think about it because she's a worker. She literally works the stadiums. So she thought about that side of it. There's gonna be a lot of workers.
She already has the in on that.
Oh, dude, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, she has the in because she works the stadium. She knows she's gonna meet a lot of people that are in town. Hey, you need a place. You don't want to stay at a hotel and pay $1,000 a night at a hotel. I got you.
See, what she really, and if you really want is them all to work together. If they all work in like the same area together, get your place, and then, yeah, that's a hit right there. Because Sonny, shout out to Abby, he's a friend of the show. He asked me about the World Cup today too, and I told him I don't really operate in Arlington no more. So, yeah, that people are waiting on that World Cup to get here. So we'll see how that goes.
So that's going on, and go Lakers because Luka's with the Lakers. Lukers, go Lukers.
Oh man, as Shannon would say, you can have Nas Reed, Willis Reed, or 10 Speed. Lakers in 5.
Yeah, Minnesota ain't nobody.
Yeah.
Where can people find us, Myka, man?
Find us on Instagram, email us, LiveLetThrive@gmail.com. Also, you can follow us on TikTok, and continue to listen to the podcast. Also, leave us a review, like, comment, subscribe, leave a crazy, corny comment for the algorithm and all that good stuff. And thank y'all for continuing to listen, man.
All right, peace
out.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.